just wanted to preface it by saying thank you the First Nations that are here. Today we have the opportunity with the clean energy sector to provide generational, transformational opportunity. The resource is throughout British Columbia. Guess what? First Nations is throughout British Columbia. First Nations for too long have been thought of as inconvenient, and I won't go into that history. It's another chapter of my work life in terms of some of the research I've done through universities. Unfortunately, First Nations have been seen as inconvenient, and only when we want something as a society do they become convenient. And here's an opportunity in terms of our sector to do something that makes sense. First Nations are saying it makes sense. And so this is a simple agreement. It's a cooperation agreement. It's not a treaty. It's not the kind of agreement that I think First Nations would really want to get to ultimately, but it's a symbol. And I think symbols are important about how we work together. And it's rare that an industry group working with First Nations does not have conflict and does not have that kind of struggle. We have issues between projects and First Nations, but as an industry group, I think we've reached a milestone. And so today, I'm going to turn over to Calvin in a moment, but from industry's perspective, we're quite proud to have First Nations here to sign this agreement of cooperation to work together. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Calvin.
Thank you very much, Paul. My Indian name is Hevos, and I am from the Seashell Indian Band. And I go back quite a few years when we had a vision that our forefathers carried to get involved with industry, to create a position where we were going to be involved in terms of creating our independence and recreating our independence. And that is the vision of our forefathers so many, many years ago when the invaders came into our territory, which is only 31 miles from here. And we live in such a pristine area that is full of rich environment in terms of forestry, in terms of the rivers and the watersheds, and even include mining and the marine industry. We took inventory of what we had many, many years ago because we wanted to be independent. Our forefathers wanted to find their own way with industry in terms of being partnerships with industry and government. We knew that the inevitable was in our territory, and there was no way to fight back without being involved in reaping the resources in our territory. So our forefathers laid out a plan for us, and we've been very active in pursuing that plan. And I want to mention that former Chief Gary Feschuk, who is in a Supreme Court case today, wanted to be here, but I'm here to represent not only him, because he played a very active role in the initiation of clean energy, because he believed that it was a purpose for not only our tribe, but could work in other regions. And we don't jump into industry where it's going to have a heavy imprint in our resources and in our environment. And because we belong to what we call the Salmon people, we take pride in keeping stewardship of our resources. And we look at longevity in terms of how we're going to reap those resources and how we're going to form partnerships with people who have a conscience of protecting those resources. Even though we are into clean energy in terms of being a partner, and we're very resourceful in terms of promoting that, we support our former Chief, Gary, for negotiating a partnership and an investment in clean energy because he really believed in it. And the Seashell people always believed in consistent partnerships. They believed in consistency in terms of how we build our leadership and carrying on the vision of our forefathers.
Good of First Nation communities as well as protecting the environment. The MOU further supports the development of a thriving clean energy sector in BC and recognizes that our First Nations are vital partners in achieving this success. As a government, we are committed to ensuring Aboriginal communities continue to benefit from clean energy opportunities such as wind energy, biomass, run of the river, hydroelectric power, and of course, clean energy planning.